Welcome back to Rebuild Rescue. All right, guys, we're here at the airport today. Back behind me is Sam's hangar. So I found out about this a few weeks ago, that he has a hangar at the airport. He's had it for years, and supposedly there's some airplanes in his hangar that are in pieces. And the story that I was told is, like, he loves this one airplane in there, and it hasn't flown. It's been in pieces for about 14 years. So I heard the story. You know, I really wanted to help him with it. He's been so awesome and has helped us with so many things, and he's kept his word in the 401, and he's an awesome guy, and he's a great friend. I gave him a phone call, and I asked him to meet us here. You know, I want to get in here, see what they look like, see if we can help him with it. Let's go check it out. Hey Sam, what's going on?
I don't let a lot of people in here.
Well, I had heard a rumor that you have some really cool airplanes or airplane in here, and that's why I gave you a call. I'm really curious to what you have, and someone also told me that you really don't let anybody in here.
I don't let anybody in here. You'll see why.
Okay. Oh, so we can check it out?
Yeah, I'll let you in.
So yeah, a few weeks ago, someone mentioned that you had this hangar. I had no idea. So I was really curious to see what you had in here. So what is this?
That's a Stolp Starduster, SA300. This one has an N number. I flew this thing hundreds of hours.
So you actually flew this one?
Yeah.
How long ago?
13 years ago. When I got out of aviation, walked away, I shut this hangar, didn't come back for 10 years. 3 years ago, when I got back into it, I came in here, started picking around on this one, and I actually put a lot of money into getting this one ready to go. We're 2 weeks from getting this thing flying.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
How many hours?
About 160. 2 people, 2 weeks.
And this should be flying again. So this did fly before.
Right.
You've flown it. Somebody here at the airport told me that you used to show up pretty much every day at a certain time and take off.
This was my therapy. I would come out every night and fly this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is open cockpit.
No, this one actually has a bubble canopy that slides. It's around here somewhere.
Okay.
This one actually had a heater. This was built originally in Canada. Had some ugly insulation in there. We've taken that out, but no. So yeah, pretty much I wear this airplane. I become part of this airplane, I don't get in it.
Okay.
I put it on.
So, and this has 2 wings, right?
Yeah, it's a biplane.
A biplane. So this is like what the Red Baron flew.
Red Baron flew a tri-wing. But
Oh, a tri-wing. All right. Can we uncover this and see what's under here?
Yeah.
So what engine's in here?
That's an 0360, an older 0360. I believe it came out of a Mooney.
So this would probably be an A1A.
I believe so.
Last thing you were able to do was to get this painted up, huh?
Well, like I say, 3 years ago, we've been picking on this and started in on it, run out of money, get some more money, start in on it, ran out of money. So actually, pretty much now, I have all the parts I need.
Okay.
There's 2 parts I need to make, but they're not expensive parts. They're just, I need to make them up. I need somebody that can weld. Know anybody that can do that?
I do know someone that can weld. About how many hours do you have flying this airplane?
About 350.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of hours. That's more hours than I have flying anything at this point.
Yeah.
Looks like everything's preserved really well.
I have 4 new cylinders for it.
Okay.
I've got the carburetor rebuilt. It's sitting in a box. I have a new battery for it. I got the prop redone. The prop governor is sitting over there. Prop and governor are sitting over there underneath something. My wife is not a big fan of this airplane. She's a little claustrophobic in it.
So you've actually flown with your wife in here?
A couple times is about it.
Yeah.
Because you fly this from the back.
Right.
So she had to sit up here, and the fuel tank sits right here with one leg on each side of the fuel tank. She was not a big fan.
I could see how that could make someone nervous. So the suspension on this thing is
rubber
literally
bands.
these are bungees, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what you would bungee jump off of a bridge with, except for in a ring that gets kind of wrapped around some stuff,
Right.
and that's the suspension that when you land.
Yeah. No, it gives it a little play, and then there's some emergency cords that are actually right here on the ground. I remade them up.
Okay.
They go around here, and then that's your last defense. So,
Okay. So if one of these snaps, that catches it from completely collapsing.
And hopefully getting the prop, it just goes down far enough.
Okay. So now this airplane, this isn't a certified airplane, right?
No, it's an experimental. It's actually made from plans. So when you bought this kit, it didn't come together. You got a bunch of tubing, and you had to weld it all together.
Okay.
At one point, I owned 3 of these. Actually, the other one's here on the airport. That one came with a messed up tail, and I redid the whole tail on that one, and re-welded that one. Ended up selling to another guy who...
Wait, so that one is the white...
The Ghost.
Yeah, the white Starduster that is up at the other hangar at the school up there.
Right. That one has the same engine as that one over there that I never got flying. The flame-covered machine. So that one has a IO 540 C4B5 out of an Aztec. And that's actually the same engine that's in the Ghost up at the other hangar.
Okay, a little bigger engine, a little more horsepower.
Yeah, it's a 250 horse, whereas this is 180 horse.
She's locked up. She probably has a little bit.
Pretty much had everything for this one to get it ready at one point. I have the radios back there. I did not do the panel yet. I had a guy that was supposed to be working on it every day for me for a while, and I think he just took my money. So
yeah, wow. Yeah, it looks like it looks like, you know, there's a lot of this one is done, but I can see that there's a ton to do yet, and obviously, you know, this engine, I can tell it's locked up, so it's probably got corrosion in the cylinders. And
well, this one, when I got back into it, I took a look at the wings. In fact, the wings back there, I failed the wings on this one, so I've stolen the wings from this one for this one. So
okay,
the wings actually are sitting right there. Those
and
4 wings.
These are the wings.
Those are the wings.
So wait a second, those are the wings that used to be on there. They're made of wood?
Yeah. This is made out of 4130 chromoly steel, just like a race car. The frame. It's covered with fabric,
Right.
like a drum.
Right. So steel frame.
Fiberglass turtle deck is what we call this on a Starduster. And then fabric.
And this is fabric. And then the wings are made out of wood.
Made out of wood, balsa wood. You cover it with fabric.
So these are made out of the same thing that like a model airplane's made out of. Oh, yeah. And you fly it.
Of course.
How fast does that go?
120, 130
miles an hour.
Miles an hour. I mean, it cruises at about 110. That one, obviously, with the bigger engine, a little bit faster. That's the gas tank on it.
So this would be the center section of the wing.
Correct. And that's actually what you call it, the center section.
Okay.
That goes up top. So I want to take this one that I failed, that's still in pretty good shape, and put lights on it, and I'm going to hang it up in my living room.
Okay.
My wife has actually given me permission to do that.
And then it looks like here's another center section. So, because
that's one
obviously upper and lower.
No, actually that's without a tank.
Okay.
The tank's an option, so that was without a tank.
Okay. And I'm assuming this is the between the legs tank you were referring to?
Yeah, we ran into an issue. All right, let's start back over here. Let me explain. For you to fly upside down, you need to have an inverted tank.
Okay.
So when you go upside down, there's a little reservoir that catches gas. You have a flop tube in there. Mm-hmm. And then, so it will burn that gas when you're upside down. This is an oil system to go upside down. That's a Christian oil, inverted oil system. When I was redoing that, your only time to change out the gas tank is when you have that center section off. You cannot get to that gas tank unless you're taking the whole wings out. So while it was in there, I was going to put in an inverted tank and painted one up. And when we went to set it in there, it doesn't fit. There's 2 tanks painted blue like that. That one and another one somewhere.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. But yeah, I wanted to set it up so that put an inverted tank in there. If I found an IO 360 somewhere, I can put it on there and then turn this into an inverted airplane.
Okay. Inverted, so that means
upside down.
you fly it upside down.
Yeah. Right now you can fly it upside.
Wait. So you fly it upside down with wooden wings and fabric.
That's what they've been doing for 100 years now.
How long do they do it for? Is it they do it once or they do it twice? So.
No. Yeah. No.
And this is someone I fly airplanes with now and again. So.
We could take any airplane you have upside down. It just you can't stay upside down. This one you can. I've looped and rolled this one, but you have to keep positive G's on it when you do it.
Right, because you get to keep the oil in the bottom of the pan,
keep
so it
the
has
oil
pickup
and gas.
and the fuel.
So both these are tail wheel airplanes, which means that they don't have a nose wheel; they have a tail wheel, and this is. Believe it or not, they call this conventional.
Right.
Because this is the way airplanes used to be.
Right.
So now to fly this, you have to have a tail wheel endorsement.
Has this airplane ever flown?
No.
This has never flown?
No, I bought that one from somebody in Mississippi, got it in here, worked on it. There's some issue up here. I think there's a problem up here because the wings, we put the wings on that came with it, and they weren't quite right. And like say, I had somebody working on it, and he basically robbed me blind. That's the one I actually wanted to end up and to be my airplane. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit wider than the plans, but at this point, this thing will never fly. I'm running out of time on my wife, so that one's just never going to happen. So
how many hours, if back in the day when you would order one of these kits, how many hours?
2,000.
So it's a 2,000 hour build from tubes to.
That's what they said. I never put one together. I know on the Ghost up there, I have a couple 100 hours just to redo the tail.
Yeah. I've looked at tons of different kit airplanes because it's one of the coolest things is being able to build it yourself.
Right.
I think that's the coolest thing ever. Right. And it's a little bit different than a certified airplane because a certified airplane you have to have special licensing from the FAA to work it on, and all the rules are different. But with an experimental airplane, you can literally build it at your house. There's tons of experimental kits that you buy that are manufactured. As long as you build a certain amount of it yourself, percentage of it.
51%.
Yeah, you can literally do the inspections. You can work on it. You can put experimental avionics and engines. Like, it opens everything up so much more.
Well, what you can do on this, you can put auto parts in there.
Yeah, you can do anything.
Anything you want.
You can do anything you want. It's experimental. So it does restrict you to certain things. I think it's the coolest thing. So at some point, we're definitely going to get an experimental kit from like out of boxes, out of crates, and we're definitely going to build something. There's so many of them. They're so cool. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, Sam, is I heard the story about these airplanes, and as I brought them up once in a while to you, you seemed like you really didn't want to talk about them very much.
No, I don't.
But Sam, you have some really cool airplanes here. I mean, hearing the fact that you used to come and fly these and kind of get your therapy and your stress out and stuff, and they've been sitting here for so long. I'd really love to figure out a way that we can take that, 160 hours. A couple things I want to do, and I know. So many of the viewers, so many of the people that saw the story on the 401 had sent me messages and said, hey, let's do something for Sam. So, I'd love to do a couple things. Let's get at least this one flying. It flew before. I think we can do it. I don't know if we can do it in 160 hours. But I'm willing to dig in now. And
your 160 hours when you
is a little different.
Stop and explain everything.
It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. But I know the viewers would love to come along and to help with this build and to see you fly it again for the first time. I want to see you fly it again for the first time. So one of the things I want to do is I know these hangars aren't cheap. You've given so much of your time. I mean, and you kept your word in the 401. I can't express what that means to me because it's a special thing today, and I know the viewers, are really behind you. And let me take care of, let us take care of the hangar rent here.
Why would you do that?
because I want to, for like the next year. You know what I mean? So that gives us some time to get these out of here, to get them up to, to the other hangar, and for us to get working on this. And we do have the 401 project, and I know you stop by. Like you stop by pretty much every day we're up there and watch. But there are going to be some times when we're waiting on parts, or when engines are out and stuff like that. It'll be a great time for us to dig in with the viewers on this project. I can weld. I'm actually a really good welder. And I think we can get this thing flying. I don't know if I'm ever going to fly in it with you. Actually, I'll watch you fly this.
This is the airplane you're going to learn how to fly tailwind in, which is basically, that's when you learn how to fly.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn how to fly tailwind in this airplane.
Awesome.
The point of this airplane...
I think I'm in. The
point of this airplane is it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be structurally sound, and it's the one I've always just thrown the key to people if they want to fly it.
Yeah.
It's not an easy airplane to fly.
No.
No, it wants to hurt you. It makes you be aware.
Yeah.
But no, the point of this airplane is that it's one I don't care about, that I'll loan the keys to you. And when I say you, I actually mean you and Steve.
Yeah. It actually has a key.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that entire panel. I'm actually very proud of that panel.
Wow. So to take something from just tubing and wood and fabric and glue and...
To be fair, I didn't weld on this one. This one I came flying
welded up.
And I've done some modification. I put the new panel in. Now I'm changing the wings out.
So I take it these are the wings?
Yeah, those are the wings.
And what's under here?
Well, those are the ailerons. 4 of them.
Oh, so these are the control surfaces.
Yeah, the ailerons.
For the wings, the ailerons. Yeah. I'll tell you, everything really looks to be in good shape. Like all the fabric.
No, I've done a lot of work to prep it, and really it should go. I need to do electrical work. I need to do plumbing work.
Right.
And then we need to start putting it back together.
So you said 160 hours. So I try to think about a lot of the projects I have going on, and it seems every time I give how long it's going to take me, depending on how excited I am. You know what I mean? If I'm real excited, I can get it done in 100 hours, and it takes me 600 hours because I'm excited, so I want it done quicker. So you're saying 160 hours. We're definitely going to have to keep track.
I think that's actually... I think we can do it quicker, but I just know your hours are longer than most people's.
Or longer than your hours, yeah.
You're a little more picky than most people.
Well, if I'm going to be flying upside down in that one day and learning to fly with a tail wheel, then I definitely want to make sure I think it's perfect.
As soon as I said you're going to fly it, suddenly everything went up a little bit.
Everything did change a little bit, considering we have a 401 to finish too, so I definitely don't want to land upside down in that, before the 401's done, because I know
that might kill the channel.
it might literally
that would be a shame to kill the channel. So, we don't really care about you.
Rebuild Rescue with Sam as the host. Welcome back to Rebuild Rescue. I'm sure it would work anyway, but
you can't spell sarcasm without Sam.
This is true. The more I look at all this stuff, the more excited I'm getting, just simply because everything's here.
Yeah,
everything's here.
I'm telling you, there's 2 pieces that need to be made, and that is it. Those 4 ailerons right there, there's a piece that goes between them. You only move the bottom ones with the control stick.
Okay.
And there's a piece that goes from the bottom aileron up to the top one. I need to make that piece.
Okay, so there's 2 ailerons. So this says dual ailerons on
each side.
Okay. So some of them have 2, because I think
the Ghost has 2.
These are the wings.
Those are the wings. Now I told the guy he could paint it any way he wanted to.
All right. So I know there's an airplane that you pick on me a little bit that's around the airport that has a little bit of a pink hue to it.
Yeah, the Flamingo. Any way he wanted.
That's pretty wild, Sam.
I think so.
So you've referred to this airplane as the red one.
It looks red when you're flying it.
Sam, we need a name for this airplane. The red one's not going to work. It's red, white, and blue.
It's not going to be.
We need to name it. So if you guys can think of a name for this airplane, maybe while we're building it, because the red one I don't see working. I mean, we need a better name because
it looks red when you're flying.
It's kind of the red, white, and blue one at this point. So what do you guys think? What should we name this airplane? Hopefully it's not like Death Trap or like
Spider.
Yeah, something like that. But it almost looks like it could be like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I still can't get over this. So underneath this is wood and a little bit of steel.
Yeah. It's structurally, it's braced with steel. You see it back there. But no, it's wood. And you put this fabric on and you heat it up with an iron. And that's what tightens it up.
Yeah, it just
so that's why
shrinks
you
it.
can't put any heat on it. Like you can't wrap this with vinyl and hit it with heat.
Yeah,
because it would just
shrink. Yeah,
it would distort the wing.
Wow. And these are all the side panels for it
Yeah, that's the
then?
tins. Now we changed that paint job. Those used to be solid red, and it was too red, and I didn't really care for it much. But now we changed it to white.
And then what's underneath here?
Why don't you look? That's the bubble canopy.
Now this is awesome. Wow. So that airplane with the heater hooked up, with the bubble canopy.
I flew it all winter.
If you caught the video a few weeks ago, Sean from Bikes and Beards, he had challenged me to a race.
Right.
Airplane versus motorcycle.
This is what we need to race them in.
Wow, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do.
We need to do it quickly.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do. But we have a 401 that's pressing as well. Yeah. I think we're going to have to get some help. That is so cool. And this looks brand new. This looks like it's in really good shape.
Totally redid it.
So I wonder how many of these airplanes are flying. Like
I don't know. At one point I knew. I can't even guess right now. There aren't that many of them that have only 2 ailerons, and I actually happen to know 3 of them.
Okay.
This one was a 2 aileron. The Ghost is a 2 aileron.
Yeah.
Ghost has the wrong wings on it. That's why I sold it. It had the wrong.
Yeah, you don't like the shape of the wing.
I don't like the shape of the wings. I think that's the sexiest wing in aviation.
Yeah.
See that elliptical wing?
Little better look to it.
Not a single one of these ribs are the same length.
Right.
And that's what gives it a Starduster. It's unique and I think just plain out sexy.
I noticed there's no interior in either of these. Do they what do you sit on?
Right here. That's the interior right there for this one. I changed. My wife hates red. These were red. So I'm trying to get her back in it. So I turned it into blue.
And these are for when you fly over water and land in the water?
Yeah, That would be the least of your problems. You land in water in this.
Right, so one of the things that is interesting whenever you have an experimental airplane, you have to show that it's an experimental airplane. So when I first started seeing experimental airplanes and you'd see this label in it, you get a little uneasy. Right. Because it's an experiment.
Definitely an experiment.
Which is actually really cool.
You have to warn, while you have that, you have to warn your passengers, and there's actually a warning that goes up front, a little thing that for the passenger to read that says this is not a certified airplane. Basically, you're taking your life in your hands and, go for it. You want to talk about the parachutes?
No, we're going to skip that. We're going to skip that part too. So
I'm telling you, everything is here to put that one back together. At this point.
So, and for this one here, because you use the wings from it, this one would need new wings.
New wings. This one needs
just a lot.
I really like that canopy on this one, and I was trying to figure out a way of putting a canopy on here.
Yeah. I like that other canopy personally. I mean, that's a really good.
I do too.
This one here, I can tell it feels like the engine's locked up. So I'm thinking I'd like to, get this engine opened up, maybe scope the cylinders and see where we're at in this engine and see.
You do whatever you want to this one.
Yeah, is that cool? I just want to see what.
Yeah, I don't care.
What is the possibility that this one will ever fly, or maybe there's another airplane that we can get at some point if this is too far away or something, or that we could put this engine in. Yeah, so let's see what this engine looks like. I know you have some stuff to do today.
Yeah, I do actually.
But if it's cool, we'll scope this thing. I'm going to take it apart, look at it and see where it's at, and then we can sit down and let's make some plans. Let's get these, get this one up to the hangar, and we can take everybody with us and get it together, and you guys will get to see this thing fly for the first time in how many, 14 years?
13,
14 years. Hopefully it doesn't take another year, so it's 15 years to get it back together.
Yeah,
but,
hopefully. I'd love to be flying this summer.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited about this. So when we have some downtime on the 401 project, or some extra time, we'll make some extra time and we'll get working on this thing and get it flying. I'm excited. I'm super excited. Awesome. Now I'm super excited. Sam, thank you so much for letting us come in here, for showing us your projects. I know, any airplanes, I mean, you really end up, becoming close to them, because when you fly them, it's just, it's really special. I know this is special to you, and you have a lot of work into it.
Yeah, so, like I said, we've replaced every nut and bolt on here. It's, because it was just time.
Yeah.
And now I'd love to see this thing up. I've had a bunch of airplanes. I can tell you every one of their end numbers.
Yeah.
And my wife is still mad at me for selling the first one.
So, I'll bet you, what's the chances that one of the viewers, if you let us know, you shared that story with me, that's a Cherokee 6?
Yep, Cherokee 6 260.
260, and what was the end number on that?
3353 Whiskey.
So if any of you guys know where November 3353 Whiskey is, that was your first airplane.
It was.
I'll tell you what, if anybody knows where that airplane is, put a comment below and let us know, because I'm kind of curious. Well, that sounds good. Well, I'm going to go up to the hangar. I'm going to get some tools.
I'm going to get back to work.
And I'll get dug into this, and we'll see what condition that's in.
Yeah.
And I think that'll help us plan some stuff out. Can we take that engine and maybe put it in a kit that we build, like an RV10 kit that we build, or something like that?
We is not you and me for an RV.
Well,
I don't do metal. I do wood.
Awesome. Well, we're going to work on it. We're going to take them with. We're going to get it together, Sam.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All
I
right,
appreciate it.
I'm going to head out.
Awesome. I went and got some tools up at the hangar. I wanted to get down here. We want to take a look at this engine. Sam had mentioned that he didn't think this one was going to ever be flyable again. The engine's locked up. We talked about some plans of maybe building another experimental airplane, maybe using that engine in like an RV-10 or something. So I want to pull the plugs out of that and see what sitting in a hangar for like 13 or 14 years does to an engine. Luckily, the engine on this other Starduster, was completely pickled and lubricated up inside and sealed off. We didn't want to remove the protective covering on it until we get it up in the main hangar to where it's a little better atmosphere. So we will get that apart, because we have to build it. Like, I'm so excited. We get to put the cylinders on, we get the ground tested. Like, there's so many things that are going to be so much fun, and that we're going to be able to learn together and put together some airplanes that have wooden wings that are covered in fabric. I mean, it blows me away. I know some of the old timers here at the airport that I've talked to about this stuff, they're like, yeah, that's how airplanes have been, forever. Like, it's no big deal. So I think it's a big deal. I think it's absolutely crazy. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to take you guys with. Let's go ahead. We're gonna get this thing uncovered and see if we can't check the engine out. And we're just going to pull the bottom plugs on this engine, and we'll get in here and look at it. My hopes are that it just has a little bit of surface rust, but I have a feeling we're going to have to pull the whole engine out. We're going to have to pull the cylinders off and completely redo it. Now, this was a pretty fresh engine when it was parked. So we really don't want to turn it over at all without pulling the cylinders off, where we can clean everything up, where we can make sure everything's good. We don't want to scrape everything up, because this engine won't need an overhaul as long as like the cam and stuff like that isn't all corroded and stuff. So super excited about this. I mean, it's a 540 cubic inch. And if you guys remember on the 401, that's a 520 cubic inch. Now it has a turbo. This doesn't have a turbo. But one of the amazing things about an experimental, we could throw a turbo on this if we want. I could actually take a turbo off of like a Honda Civic. I could take 2 of them, 3, whatever. You can do whatever you want. And it's experimental, so you can experiment with some different things. Now, we do have to be safe. You know, these are meant to be flying in the air, but it's just a really cool chance to learn a lot of new things and to have the space to do it. So let's get these plugs out. So let's get some penetrating oil up on these plugs. Let that soak in. So that's how, unlike the 401, that's how you want to see a spark plug when you pull it out of an airplane after a long amount of time. So one of the things I'm noticing with these plugs are they're pretty oily. Sam wasn't sure whether this engine would have been pickled, whether it was fogged with oil to protect it, but they're pretty oily. So it must have been. But the crankshaft is seized, so I'm a little bit confused as to, if this was pickled, it should be good. But it is seized up, so I'm not sure why, but yeah, that plug does not look too bad. So this one is oily on the inside, so it looks like it would have been pickled. Hopefully that's not water that got inside the engine or something. Let's get the scope hooked up, and let's take a look inside of this engine and see what we have. Get in here and see what this thing looks like inside. Wow, so it actually looks like this cylinder was brand new pistons, but you can see on the sides of the cylinder there, it has some corrosion that unfortunately looks like it ate all the way through the side of the cylinder. So these cylinders, I'm pretty sure, are gonna have to be completely overhauled. I think the overhaul is gonna be a little easier. Yeah, so these cylinders, unfortunately, like I said, there's a brand new piston in there, but whatever it was pickled with actually looks like it might have corroded it a little bit differently, because I've never seen corrosion like that. So that's why it is locked up. And again, that's a brand new piston in there. It looks like somebody went through the trouble to properly preserve this. And you can see on the back side of the valve, there's some corrosion. And again, right there, we got corrosion. I mean, look at the crosshatch on the cylinders. That's a shame. Yeah, and this is pretty much at top dead center, so we're not gonna be able to see the cylinder. So let's check out the other side and see what that looks like. So see what we can do with this airplane. I mean, there's part of me that is thinking, maybe we surprise Sam. Maybe we buy this one from him and I'll put it away. Maybe we work on this one without letting Sam know, and we build it and then surprise him with it. What do you guys think? I mean, is that a good idea? You guys think, should we do that? I don't know. I think he would love it. And I think so. I think it'd be really cool if Sam had the other one out and was flying it, and we got this out and kind of passed him in the air, because he picks on me about my flying all the time. So it would be like a ton of fun. This cylinder over here. Wow, look at brand new piston. It's brand new piston. Yeah, it's got the same. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it was pickled with something. It was fogged, and whatever it was just didn't do the job it was supposed to do. Let's take a look at this last cylinder if we can get in there without taking the rest of this cowling off. Yeah, and that one's pretty much at top dead center. You can see the valves. You can see the top of the head there. You can see it's got corrosion. So we're going to have to get these apart. The pistons look new. The rings, just from sitting, the rings are going to have to be replaced. And two, with that corrosion, the way that corrosion is, it's a little bit different than surface corrosion. It's like a heavier corrosion. So I have a feeling, I just have this feeling that cam inside the engine is also going to be corroded. So, and in that case, the whole engine is going to be split. And you're going to replace the cam. You're going to replace the lifters. You're going to replace the bearings. But these 540s are awesome engines, and this is a constant speed prop. I mean, I like this airplane. I wouldn't mind seeing this fly. So now this one would take a lot more time than the other one to get together for sure, but I really don't want to count this one out yet. So I think these are going to be two really good projects for us to do, at least one, maybe two, that we can do with Sam. We can give back to Sam for just being awesome. There's going to be times with the 401 project where we're going to be waiting on parts, or we're going to be waiting for another company to get something done, or we're going to be flying out to another part of the country to watch these other companies work on components of the 401. So these would be great projects for us to have in the middle of that project, when we're waiting to be able to work on it. So, and a great way to give back to a great guy who has given us the opportunity to give back. And remember, this channel, it's about giving back. Can we build these airplanes? Can we, bring maybe some young future pilots in and give them some rides or something, or maybe they can even help work on them away and inspire some of the younger generation to get into aviation. So if you get a chance, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you guys know when we have a new video. Also, check out the GoFundMe for the 401. It is going crazy, and I've said it so many times, in the videos and outside of the videos to everybody that I meet and talk to about how awesome of a community you guys have built. These are our projects. This is our channel. You guys are part of the Rebuild Rescue crew, and you guys are so important to me, and I thank you so much for coming, so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Thank you.